We're live, so here we go.
Isn't it lovely strong voice? Did you hear that? I heard.
I don't think this is a
What
real
is it? Do you think
trailer.
it's a dog? Nice dog. Good boy.
What happened?
This must be a newer trailer. I didn't look.
Cool.
Definitely newer.
Yeah. It works.
Who told me that I will become a monster in 2 days?
You're dead, Jack.
Yes. You gotta believe me, David.
It's more modern.
Believe what? You're one of the undead, and I'm a werewolf. Tomorrow night, you'll know. You're gonna become. I know. A monster.
A naked American man stole my balloon.
What? What did I do last night?
You don't remember?
The last remaining werewolf must be destroyed.
It's you, David. Run! Good Lord.
All right. Now you know what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about an American Werewolf in London. Welcome to the show. Welcome back, guys. Happy New Year. Is it too late? No.
New Year.
Is there a rule for the New Year? How late into the year can you say Happy New Year? We got Luke's with us. Oh God, green. I gotta fix that. And then okay.
I would think releasing the first week or two, you can still wish Happy New Year's.
So, Happy New Year, guys. How's everybody holding up so far?
Good. You?
Slow and steady.
Yeah, I'm fine. So, anything you want to discuss is anything new before we get into the conversation? Has everybody subscribed to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube or liked the Facebook page and shared the Facebook page? Is that really Bib Fortuna? According to that guy, it is. Okay, so if you're new to the Horror Syndicate Discourse, we look at movies and kind of break them down and talk about a lot about the movies. Mostly Nate. And then...
No, tonight it's Seth's night, man. This is
Seth's night.
I'm here to learn because I know a little bit about this movie, but I'm sure Seth is like a textbook on this thing. So
yeah. So if you're new, again, it's Seth T. Miller with us.
Hello.
Say hi. Yeah, there we go. Jared Letourneau.
Happy New Year, guys.
Letourneau. Look at that beard, man.
Thank you.
Looking good.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year. And then Nathan Thomas Miller. All right.
Howdy.
Seth, why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about the movie.
Well, I mean, it's not only my favorite werewolf movie of all time, it's my favorite horror movie, period. I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it every time I watch it. I first saw it about over 20 years ago, and I just instantly loved it. It's got a good balance of horror and humor. Obviously the great effects, the great transformation, the great makeup effects on Griffin Dunn. It's got probably one of the best howls out of any werewolf movie I've seen. I think it's probably the most terrifying howl.
Fucking terrifying.
Yeah. It's my favorite horror movie.
Yeah, we talked about that the other. I don't remember when I saw it for the first time. It's my third favorite werewolf movie. Yes, just third. But I've always liked it. Watching it last night. Excuse me. I was gonna tell you guys I really enjoyed the scene when the nurse, I can't remember her name, she goes to work and he's like trying to figure out what to do, and that's the highlight of the movie for me. The transformation scene is right after that, but like him looking in the fridge, I'm not hungry. And then he goes back a few minutes later. I'm still not hungry. That's the best part of the movie because I know the feeling when you have nothing to do in somebody's house.
Yeah,
and you knew the town. So I really like that. And then him waking up the next day is really fun. Yeah, the effects, man. The effects are out of control in this movie. Also, the porno scene. They shot that for the movie. So that
was the very first thing they shot.
Was it? So
yes.
That's really what we're here to talk about is the porno.
We're just here to talk about next Wednesday.
Yeah, and the incredible acting in the what is it called? The
See you next Wednesday.
No,
next one.
What is the orgy place called? Something. It was on the anyway. Nate, what about you? Tell us about your experience with this one.
I don't remember the first time, but it's definitely my favorite werewolf film. I can't think of even one contender, honestly. I know there's other, like The Howling is usually the one that it's always up against, but
Silver Bullet.
we already talked about that one. Story-wise, I do love Silver Bullet's story, but there's just something about this film. I guess it is unique. I mean, because the balance of the humor and the horror. Because it has some of the most terrifying sequences I've ever seen in a movie. Like the opening sequence is so effective. That's easily my favorite part of the movie is just them hiking through England and stopping at the slaughtered lamb and then walking on the moors and falling off and just being surrounded by that howl that's terrifying. I mean, it's fucking creepy. And just their reaction, like Griffin's like, "Oh, what is that?" Like it's just so perfect. And then just the way John throws us off with that jump scare of him falling and laughing and throwing you off your guard, and then that's when it hits, and it's just terrifying. And then the scene someone mentioned, the Bib Fortuna guy in the subway, that sequence is just horrifying to me. Like it always that always scared the shit out of me.
That's a great sequence, and it always makes me want to say "De Wana Wanga."
Oh, like I mean, there's been times where we've been in places where it is like no one's around, and like the emptiness of that subway and him being alone with this thing chasing him, and we don't even see it. I mean, that's the thing. Also, is like we don't see the werewolf much at all. Because I'm making a werewolf film right now, or a monster movie in some ways, and I've been turning to this to say, all right, this works, and it still works, and seeing how he did it, and it is very basic. It's all editing and sound design, and it still works, it still holds up. So I've been turning for this movie. I've been turning to American Werewolf in London a lot for what Rick Baker and what the editors did, what John Landis did. In terms of how they handled that, because really, when you watch it, we don't really see a lot till that finale.
Yeah.
Right.
Just bits. Yeah.
Yeah, the finale is really good too. And one of the best parts in watching it last night, thinking about it, and forgetting to take notes. I told you guys I was going to take notes. Totally forgot. And Seth looks disappointed. Sorry.
I didn't take notes either. I just
well, you don't need to take notes. You've probably seen it 1,000 times. Come on.
I have. Actually, 1,001.
No, 1,001. Excuse me, Mr. Big Man. But like one of the things I noticed about is some of the way it was edited together was like kind of quick cuts in a way in some scenes that I really liked, and the humor is the thing that really stands out for this movie, and probably why I don't like it as much. I'm all for humor, but. The humor is the standout in this movie for me, especially like I said, when he wakes up and we saw the kid with the balloons.
Yeah, I love that.
It makes sure to say he's American, which I love.
It's one of my favorite lines of the movie.
Absolutely. And I like when he just strolls back into her apartment in that coat and it's cold out.
Yeah.
Or when he's in line, he's like, "What about the weather?"
Or I like the enthusiasm of the woman, the victim, who's like, oh, she may blow your brains out, and like they're telling
Yeah.
like suggestions of how to kill himself.
Oh yeah. Oh, that we'll get to that.
Smiling.
That's an awesome scene.
Yeah.
Jared, we didn't hear from you though about your views and the first time you say, "Hey, Alex." By the way, Luke says he saw it when he was 8 years old. Dude, that's awesome. I was way old.
that would have freaked me out if I was 8 when I saw it for the first time. This was one of the movies that kind of I saw later in my horror career, so to speak.
I like that you made a career out of this.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, that's what I am. That's what I love. I love horror movies, so might as well call it that. But I could probably count on 2 hands how many times I've seen this movie, and every time I enjoy it more and more. Like, I'm not. People that have watched the Horror Syndicate before know I'm not a huge werewolf. I like, slasher films and Italian horror movies and stuff like that. But every time I watch this movie, I love it more and more. And it's John Landis's fucking writing. Like, you got to think Animal House. What else? Like 1981. He was still. I read somewhere that he wrote this when he was like 15. Seth, can you help me out on that?
I thought he said he was 19. I could be wrong on that.
What didn't he write it when he was working on the Kelly's Heroes, wasn't he?
In his teenage years, though.
Yeah.
Still pretty young.
That's still wild to me. But I mean, obviously, like I watched the cursed horror movies on Shudder, and I saw his Twilight Zone and what he went on to do on the Twilight Zone thing, and that still fucking haunts me to this day. But this was before that. But like, he was known for being a comedy director, and then he jumps in and does this, like, perfectly blends, like Seth said, perfectly blends horror, perfectly blends comedy. Like John Landis, that's all he was known for doing. Watching it the other night, though, I did notice some interesting tidbits. Like, I don't know if it's too early to add fun facts or if we should do that later, but
Speak your piece.
Okay. Well, I'll just do a quick one. When they're in the slaughtered lamb and Jack and David, they first get into the bar and everybody's looking at him like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? There's 2 guys playing chess. The main guy that eventually comes back later, but the other guy, I don't know if you guys recognized him, but it's Rick Mayo, who did Blackadder and eventually was Drop Dead Fred.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't notice that till last night when I was watching it, that's who that was. From the Young Ones, and you said Drop Dead Fred. But he was just in, was he? Wasn't he in just one of the new Star Wars movies? Or one of the prequels?
I know he was supposed to be in one of the Harry Potter movies, but apparently his part got cut because the extras kept laughing at him.
I'm thinking of someone else.
That's
someone
what he
else
said.
Because he died, didn't he? Rick dead, correct?
Yeah, he died in 2014.
Okay, so yeah, I think it was another guy from the Young Ones was just in one of the new Star Wars movies as like an Imperial officer or something.
But I saw that guy and I was like, that guy looks so familiar. That looks like Drop Dead Fred. And I IMDb'd it and I was like, that's him.
So you're telling me Drop Dead Fred is dead now?
Yes. Yeah. He is actually dead.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Apparently he had a heart attack after a morning jog, which is a shitty way to go.
So he literally dropped dead.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, I mean, it's a shitty way to go. He was taking care of himself, apparently.
Yeah, it happens. The dad from Weeds died taking a jog. His name is Rick Mayo. And who did he play?
Yeah, Rick Mayo. My other fun fact was something that most people already know, but I mean, this was the first movie to win an Academy Award for Best Special Effects and Makeup Work. but because that was the first year they actually had the award for best makeup and special effects award.
And because they're amazing too, though.
True. Yeah, no discredit to Rick Baker whatsoever.
Yeah. Kind of going back to what Nate was saying about when they're on the moors, I love that scene because they look genuinely terrified in that scene. And David Naughton is not the best actor, but he's really good in those scenes. Yeah. He's really good. He's really good in those scenes where he's scared, or when he sells it pretty well. But yeah,
he's a better singer. I hear one of his songs every day at work.
That's what I find really interesting is that he and Griffin really didn't win the parts for auditions or anything like that, right? Like John just saw the Dr. Pepper commercial and cast David, and Griffin apparently said he didn't audition. He just talked to John, and John gave him the part.
From a Dr. Pepper commercial?
Yeah, he hadn't done anything. Griffin, I don't think Griffin had done any films or anything of note.
I really like him, not just in this movie, but in general as an actor. Seth?
Yeah. Griffin is very strong in this movie.
Griffin's great.
He's definitely better than David Naughton acting wise.
Oh yeah.
And he was just so natural as Jack, and just like when Jack comes back when he's in limbo, and he's just having a normal conversation. He sells that really well.
One of the best parts about the film is Jack, and the choice to make him the way he is he's not there for scares, and it's almost like I hadn't thought about it until last night when I was watching it. It's kind of similar to how Pascal is handled in Pet Sematary, where he's not acting spooky or creepy, but he just looks horrible. But he's like, "Come on, Doc, we got places to go." I mean, it's like this. That's how Jack is. It's like, hey, I'm a corpse, and it's no big deal, kind of. And it also it kind of gave me echoes of, I never thought about it this way, but A Christmas Carol, and Marley, or like his friend visiting him, the ghost of a friend, kind of warning him. Not in the same story, but I got Marley feelings towards Jack and his coming back as his ghost friend, who's cursed to walk eternity or in limbo or whatever, which Marley was. He wasn't able to rest. He was kind of stuck in that.
Yeah. Well, and the great thing too about the whole limbo thing is it's so unique. Like you don't see that in werewolf movies, where they see their victims or, previous victims of the werewolf, who have to be stuck in limbo until the curse is severed. It's very unique as a werewolf movie for that factor alone.
Yeah. And that's the unsung hero makeup of Rick's work in the film is Jack's corpse makeup.
Oh yeah.
And it's just the other thing I love about this movie that just is so unlike everything else are David's nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so effective and creepy and generally scary. Like the hospital bed in the woods with the eyes and the face, and then the part that always got me was the after you see the Nazi wolf attack on the family, when he wakes back up and Jenny Agutter's there and she opens the curtains and he stabs her again. He's like, "Oh shit!" It's I remember feeling that. His response to that was how I, as the audience, felt. Oh shit! It's because it's just the editing and the sound of him stabbing her, and then that shot of her laying there and just still stabbing and making that. It's that's very unique. I don't think I've seen that. I mean, we saw in Silver Bullet, we saw a nightmare sequence where the wolf guy is haunted by everybody turning into werewolves in his congregation. But they're just so effective and bizarre of nightmare sequences. Just the whole idea of Nazi werewolves attacking a family or his family.
Yeah, that was a crazy scene too. I didn't expect that when I first watched it. Very effective.
There's a lot of effective moments. I mean, that when he sees Jack in the hospital, was that the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene is really, really good. It's again got some humor in it, and I like, you know, and the best part about Jack is every time you see him, he looks worse.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about this.
That's
movie.
what I like about it too.
He
Another-
looks worse and worse.
It's another great line. You ever talk to a corpse? It's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Griffin's excellent. I mean, I didn't like the first thing I ever saw Griffin in was Desperately Seeking Susan, I think, when that came out in the 80s. The Madonna movie.
Yeah, he was in that.
Yeah, he was a guy in that one, and then like of course years later I saw After Hours, a Martin Scorsese movie, which is fucking great. But yeah, Griffin is like I think he's an underrated performer. Everything I've seen him in.
Yeah, there's a movie I saw him in where his penis talked. I think it was called He and I or something like that, and it was like his penis was leading him to live his life, and it was a really strange. I'm gonna see if that's a real thing or if that's something I dreamt up. But he was also in a movie in the early '90s where all these people went camping or something like that. He was the good-looking dad or something. I swear there's a movie called.
And talking about cursed films, his sister was Dominique, right, from Poltergeist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Him. Yeah, it's about his penis talking to him.
Me and Him.
Yeah, it depicts a man whose penis develops a mind of its own and starts telling him what to do. Often to a point where people think he's crazy. Yeah, it's a pretty funny movie. Check it out. Yeah, I didn't realize his sister is Dominique Dunn. You know, he's also really close to Carrie Fisher too.
Yeah, they were really good. Yeah, he was on the documentary about Carrie and her mom that was on. We just watched it a while back. It's a heartbreaking documentary.
He was My Girl. He was the teacher.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I love that movie. Oh man.
Of course, there's Jenny Agutter, you know, beautiful, big time actress over there, you know, from Walkabout, and even she was even on Red Dwarf, which is my favorite TV show. She had an appearance on there as a
Never seen
Crichton's creator. It was just the one episode. It was like every once in a while they would have a guest. Like on the first season, Craig Ferguson, his first gig he was on Red Dwarf as playing an American car salesman. Years before Drew Carey's show and his talk show.
He played an American. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it was a cool episode where Lister had the main character had a new strain of flu or something that would make his hallucinations solid. So he was talking before he got sick about your paranoia and your confidence. So his confidence and his paranoia manifested themselves in reality as people. And Craig Ferguson was his confidence. And he goes, my idea of confidence is an American car salesman. He's like, got the white teeth and the Trump orange face. And he's like, hey, King. And he's just like, totally like, wow, you're great. You know, just building him up all the time. And his paranoia was just this little meek, dark, Tim Burton looking guy. Tell him how shitty he is.
What do you got? You look like you're waiting to just unload on some stuff.
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Let's hear it.
What are we talking about?
I want to learn more about this movie because I think to me it's one of the greatest horror films ever made. Honestly, I do. I think it has to come up top 20 in my opinion. I think it's,
find out.
I think it's a top 10 horror, at least top 10 of the 80s.
It's definitely top 10 in 1981.
Yeah.
No. I'm curious to see what we have it ranked on the horrorsyndicate.com. So I'm going to pull that up. Did anybody get the Arrow Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Is there any certain special features that you learned some new stuff? This is your favorite movie, man. You need to gush. Gush.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's tons of features on that Arrow Blu-ray, for sure, and they go pretty deep behind the scenes. Some of the things I haven't watched the feature since I got the Blu-ray in, but I think one of the things that stood out was the fact that Griffin didn't like the all the makeup. It kind of like it really creeped him out and kind of depressed him, I guess, seeing himself looking dead. So that makeup even had effect on him, and it took a bit for him to be okay with it. Another thing too is I believe there was a malfunction with the animatronic when the werewolf is attacking Jack, and so when he's screaming, "Help me! It's killing me!" That's him. That's him really saying that because of the malfunction with it.
Oh, wow.
And that really kind of added to that scene too for me, because like, I mean, that whole scene, just the way the camera moves around, the sound effect of the howl and the reactions and, the screaming and everything that happens, it's very real.
Well, Griffin's acting in that attack is selling 90% of that scene, because the wolf is just fucking there. I mean, it's just doing this. It's just a hand puppet. And it's all Griffin's performance and his screaming, like I said, and the editing and the sound, and but Griffin sells that scene because he's doing everything, really. Yeah. And I read something today about that, like that. I guess the first take, because I think Rick had said that the prop was very fragile and to be easy with it, and like on the first take, like Griffin like ripped the some part of it off or fucked it up, so like Rick was like pissed off at him. Maybe that's why he hurt him.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they talk about that in that documentary too. Yeah,
I never did see. There was a documentary called "Beware the Moon" that was on a release that Paul Davis from Horror Hound magazine. He started when I first got kind of added to the staff of Horror Hound. Paul was working on that documentary. He's a huge Werewolf fan, but I never did see it because there was only like one release or something, wasn't it?
Well, they actually put it on a couple of the. It's on my Steelbook Blu-ray, I believe, and also my Arrow video Blu-ray. Also,
there's where it ranks via the fan vote, number 40 from 2019.
And
that's of all time.
That's of all, that's because after that it's
I see the birds is above it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to redo this list.
My Bloody Valentine shouldn't be right below it.
Oh no, not at all.
I disagree also.
Based on our fans from 2019, and Trimmer shouldn't even be on the top 100 in my opinion. But I did a list on my own, and I'm gonna look that up. Just keep talking. I'm gonna look that up now.
Here's another fun fact to throw out too is that David Schofield, the guy that does the darts, he played the constable in the Wolfman remake.
Oh, that's cool.
I saw that he was the one who originated playing John Merrick in the Elephant Man stage production or something, like right before this movie was made.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to look up the guys, like all the guys. Some of these actors have been and stuff. I just can't remember. Like the main guy that tells the story about the Alamo was in Alien 3.
Yeah,
I kind of recognized him, and then I was looking just the crew, like the cinematographer. I can't remember his name. Was the guy that shot the Superman movies, and there's another big one he did. But the cinematography is really great. I think he actually was also, because since Michael Jackson was so in love with the film, like because Thriller is like definitely my true intro to the horror genre. I was 82? Was that when Thriller came out?
Yeah, 83. I think I'm same thing. Yeah, because they had the making of on MTV all the time, and I watched the shit out of that.
Rick Baker. That's why he wanted him.
Yeah, and I think he used the same cinematographer. He wanted everybody the same. So, like, I mean, the Thriller video, the cinematography is still gorgeous. Everything about it. Rick's work, Rick's zombies, like I felt like Day of the Dead zombies were like the step above, but like Rick kind of got there because the zombies in the Thriller video are fucking phenomenal looking. You know, pre Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I found it. Now, this is, I think this is my personal list, and it's from 2016. If you guys want to see that, yes or no?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Seth's going to cry.
Where's it at?
No, it's number 13. That's not too bad, right? Night of the Living Dead's right above The Flies, right below it. So not too bad, right?
What is that?
They're beating it.
Top 50? Top what?
This is not my list. Nightmare on Elm Street would be number 1.
I mean, I would even put American Werewolf in top 5 of the 1980s. I can Nightmare and The Thing and Hellraiser,
Shining.
The Shining.
There's so many movies.
Let's count the 80s movies here. We got American Werewolf in London, Hellraiser, The Shining, and Nightmare on Elm Street. The Thing. So yeah, there you go. Top 5 of the 80s.
Yeah, I think that's a fair 5, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Because I made the list. I was trying to, when I made that, I remember now, I was trying to not be biased because The Exorcist is not my top horror film of all time. Obviously, it's A Nightmare on Elm Street. So now I have to make my own list, top 100. Son of a bitch. Okay, guys, you take over. I'm going to do that.
Better get to work.
Terrible list. So, Luke, you're a follower of the Horror Syndicate. You have the way to make the change. We're going to do a fan vote again this year, and you can help. Okay.
Yes, we always encourage all of our followers to vote.
Yeah, the first list was I had a 5-star rating thing and used emojis to vote, and that's probably. I mean, do you guys remember when I did that?
Yeah,
it was early 2019. We'll do it again this year. I tried doing it last year, but then I was like, fuck it, I don't want to do this right now. So now we'll do it this year. Anyway, back to the movie. You guys want to watch a scene? We can watch scenes together if you wanted to. I'm just saying. You know, this is one I didn't realize how short it was.
Like see you next Wednesday scenes, or
what?
Like
see you next Wednesday scenes, or what? What are we talking
about?
I do love the porn because it's just the absurdity where it's like, hey, you, it's like, I don't even know you. It's like, oh, sorry, I'm not even taking the phone call. I mean, where did Seth, you know that I don't know this. Like, I mean, the see you next Wednesday thing found its way into most of John's stuff. Like, I mean, it's in the Thriller video. I
think it's a running joke, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, like, where did that originate from? Because I think it may be in Kentucky Fried Movie. I can't remember. I think it may be in. I know it's in a
Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yeah.
That movie's hilarious.
It may have been Schlock. I don't remember, but does anybody know the origin of the whole see you next Wednesday running joke?
I just know it's a running joke. I don't know why.
I don't recall, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious, though.
Yeah.
See you next Wednesday.
That part about, the guys coming in, yelling at them. I've never seen it before. And David goes, good movie.
Yeah, he just walks out. What the fuck is going on?
I'm just gonna try something. Keep talking. I'm gonna play this in the background while we talk.
Now, did you guys know that John Landis wrote a script for a sequel?
Really? Did you find the script and did you do?
No, I didn't. He's only come out and talked about it. I haven't been able to find where it's been leaked, but he talked about it in great detail of what it was. I wish I could remember everything. I know it involved the woman Jack and Dave were talking about in the beginning of the movie. she's trying to figure out what happened to both of them, and fuck, I forgot how it all comes about, but like at the end, it's revealed that Nurse Alex is the werewolf. You know, she became a werewolf after having sex with
To continue
David.
the strain, huh?
Yeah.
So she passed it on to nurse. Yeah.
I'll have to find the link that has like all the details, and I'll put it in the comments here for people to read. But it sounded pretty interesting, and it's kind of a shame.
Let me ask you a question. So in the movie, I don't know if this is a thing or not, but in the movie, they talk about in the theater that the last werewolf has to die. So if for them to move on from limbo or whatever, right?
Right.
Right.
So does that mean if she became a werewolf, would that mean
that they're all
they're
still in
still-
limbo? Yeah.
so we're
Right.
both werewolves killed? Oh, because because Jack is not. David didn't kill Jack.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
okay, that makes
Right.
sense.
And the guys from the pub killed the werewolf.
They were both of the characters, Jack and David, do appear in the. They were to appear in the script, both still in limbo.
Interesting.
That is interesting. You need to do a write up on that one. That'd be an interesting read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I'd rather
apparently,
read about that than talk about the sequel or the supposed sequel, I guess.
apparently, the idea of "See You Next Wednesday" has its own Wikipedia page.
Does it really?
"See You Next Wednesday" is a recurring gag in most of the films directed by John Landis, usually referring to a fictional film that is rarely seen and never in its entirety. Each instance of the film "See You Next Wednesday" in Landis's films seems to be a completely different film. Landis got the title "See You Next Wednesday" from the 1968 movie 2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh.
Oh.
It is the last line spoken by Frank Poole's father's character in that movie. See you next Wednesday.
Wednesday. Interesting.
That's weird.
Also,
It's not as
one
funny
of the-
as it sounds.
I'll bring up the utter chaos and editing of that Piccadilly Square, like carnage, the accidents, and the just all that shit. Like it's like disturbing. Like seeing that when I was young. I mean, you're seeing bodies crash and thrown, and again the sound, the editing, the sound editing, and everything. It's just whoa. It's like fuck the werewolf, like all of that shit, like just the chaos of panic.
It's funny. I was thinking about that last night when I was watching the movie. I'm like, more people die by automobile in this movie than werewolf.
Right. Does that count?
I mean, the werewolf caused it. But.
Right. Exactly.
And one of them's Landis himself, isn't it? Like the one goes through the window.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that like the werewolf design was based on a Keeshond, which is what my grandparents had, and now that I heard that, now I see it because I think Rick's dog was a Keeshond, so he based it off of that because it's a very unique looking werewolf. It doesn't look like your typical werewolf, and it does. It looks like a Keeshond, which is funny because my daughter wanted to get one of those when we were trying to find a dog for her, which they're like the sweetest little dogs in the world. They're not very ferocious.
Yeah, other than like you have the Wolfman, you have, and then the howling werewolves. They're all two-legged werewolves. So I don't know when the first time you see a werewolf look like a four-legged dog-looking thing. Other than because Wolfen doesn't really count, right? They're like skinwalkers or something like that, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I count Wolfen as a werewolf movie.
Yeah.
By default, like it's the interesting thing about Wolfen too is that American Werewolf in London, The Howling, and Wolfen all came out the same year.
Right.
I
So
haven't seen Wolfen in so long.
it's
now that
actually a bad movie overall.
I remember liking it, a lot, but I haven't seen it probably in 25 years. But I like now when I think of Wolfen, I always think of Dream Team, where Michael Keaton's. Have you seen Dream Team with Michael Keaton, Christopher Lloyd, where he's like they're in the car and he's trying to spook them out because they're all crazy. And he's telling, y'all see that movie Wolfen? That shit happened around here. And he's like trying to scare him out, and he's like, "Ooh!" They're like all nervous and locking the doors.
So, do you guys want to talk about the transformations? I got it right here. I pulled up. If you want to watch it and talk about it at the same time, because that's the huge moment in the movie. Really, I mean, other than the ending, though, this scene is a landmark scene.
Oh, yeah,
right?
It's the most famous, and then I like you said, the build up to it, but I also love that just out of nowhere he's reading.
Yeah.
This guy, like what? What's happening?
He's going through all the stuff, and the best part is you can see, like, look at his back. He's so sweaty. Like earlier, you see him open the door to get more air in.
Like is he feeling something in his pants that he needs to take them off at this moment?
Yeah, it doesn't show his wang, does it?
It does. No. It does at the zoo, but not in this scene.
But the thing is he makes it look so painful. Look at his face and his hands. Yeah.
That's the great thing about.
What's that?
That's the great thing about it too, because I mean, every werewolf movie pretty much before this, it was almost like a painless transformation.
Like they would fall asleep and just slowly turn. But the pain involved in this.
I was reading somewhere that this scene took about a week to film. I don't know if.
Yeah.
I kind of read it quickly when I was at work, and like Rick Baker would actually they did it in reverse, and then Rick Baker would cut hairs off of them to kind of measure it down. But that just to be amazing to just have to fucking how meticulous he would have to do to make this.
Our video's been blocked because of this.
Uh-oh.
Has it?
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is that what Keith messaged over?
Yep.
The fun police has arrived.
Well, we're still live on YouTube. Let's just finish the episode.
All right. Anyways, you guys might know what happened. You might not have. It's fine. Amazing transformation scene.
It's probably because of the booty.
Change music, audio, or video that belongs to someone else.
Oh, give me strength. It's over, so it's gone. It says somebody's watching us now. I don't know. Anyway, let's see something. Hold on.
Yeah, I got the blocked video content too.
Yeah, he can see us on. Keith says he can see us on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, if you guys can see us, give us a shout out. We're still alive.
Yeah, we're still going on Facebook. So after I stopped the video, it probably showed back up. See? Yeah, we're still going on Facebook. So anyway, let's just keep moving. I won't do that again. Fuck you, Facebook. I guess I can show the trailer, but not complete scenes.
As an immigrant to this country, I would like to see you.
What the hell was that?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
All right. So what just broke the stride, huh? Oh, crap. On Facebook. So. Oh, okay. Can you guys go? I just got a text message. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, so what else can we talk about?
There's always funny little things that I notice when I watch the movie, like when he is in the courtyard and he starts freaking out when Nurse is with him and he's trying to get the Bobby to arrest him, and he's like, "Fuck the Queen! Queen Elizabeth is a man. Prince Charles is a faggot." Sorry, guys. I'm paraphrasing the movie. Okay, so
you're just quoting the movie. Yeah.
and he's intentionally trying to be offensive, so he gets
so he gets arrested. But I think it's very funny at the end of the movie that John Landis like puts a congratulations out to Princess Diana and Prince Charles for their wedding. It actually says Princess Diana and His Royal Highness. It doesn't say Prince Charles. I thought that was amusing.
I think it's also cool too. Like this movie is pretty tragic if you stop and think about it, but despite all that, it has all these kind of upbeat songs to it. You know what I mean? Like the scene where he's transforming right there. You know, like there's a very upbeat song playing to it. I know that every song has something to do with Moon, but it's just it's just the balance of the horror with in contrast with its other side. I don't know. It is kind of cool decisions that he made while making this movie.
CCR's Bad Moon Rising, yeah.
Moon Dance. Don't they play Moon Dance in it?
Van Morrison, yeah. And there's like 3 different versions of Blue Moon too.
Yep.
Like one of them's from Sam Cooke, and I didn't even realize he covered that song. I was watching it last night. I was like, that's fucking Sam Cooke. That's fucking amazing. There are just little, like you were saying, there just are little things that just add to this movie so much.
Sorry, I got a text that said "call me now" from a family member, and it was bullshit. It was a family member, but it was bullshit. So, yeah, don't send a text say "call me now" to ask about somebody's birthday that's like 3 months away. Anyway, yeah, my heart started racing because I thought it was about my dad. So my dad's got that, Anyway, so sorry about that, guys. So what I heard something about Bad Moon Rising. You guys talk about the great soundtrack. Everything Moon. Yeah, so what's going to happen with this is we're still live on YouTube, so we're going to keep going. I'm not sure if they can see us on Facebook or not, but we're going to have to delete the video. But the YouTube still has us on there, so no need to stop.
Okay.
I just won't do that again. I don't know if it was the clip or if it was the trailer, because I showed the Superman Returns trailer, and it was fine. It said 2 minutes, 11 seconds. The trailer is 1 minute and 45 seconds. So I'll try on my own page again. Anyway, so yeah, every song in the movie had to do with the moon, right?
Yep. And I was just saying that they're pretty upbeat too, in contrast to some of those scenes, some of the terror that's going on.
One of the best parts is the very end, how it quickly cuts from her crying to Blue Moon, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
But it's like the doo-wop version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about the ending, the fact that it ends so abruptly?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that it just kicks up to that upbeat Blue Moon cover or version.
Yeah, I like it. It's just like, whoa, it's over. And that's fine. I mean, like, how else would you have let that movie end,
I mean, and like considering, the time it came out, what other movies is just going to end that abruptly on that kind of a note? Just boom.
Yeah, and I mean, there was no way to. I mean, it showed him dead, and it showed her, and then it ended. So I mean, like, what else could they have done? Do you not like the ending, Seth?
No, I'm perfectly fine with it. I've seen complaints from people online about the ending, about how it just kind of ends abruptly. But I'm fine with it. I think it's a pretty effective ending to have him get shot, her crying, and then boom, cut to yeah.
Then dig it on blue.
I read today. I mean, it's probably common knowledge, people who know the movie, but was it the studio wanted Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi to star in it?
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah,
Blues Brothers just showing up in London.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of a funny, like, hey, they just kind of like see him walking by, and the Blues Brothers is like, "Did you guys just see that? What the fuck was that?"
I should have got Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd, they could have been two wild and crazy guys.
I think the mistake in that would have been that people was the seriousness that is the balance of the comedy would have been lost. Everybody would have just been laughing at John Belushi and Dan.
Yeah,
the whole time.
Well, and both the two leads, I don't know about Alex, the nurse or whatever. They're all pretty well unknown, so you kind of. I think that helps a little bit. Like Star Wars, for instance, nobody knew who any of those people were. Maybe Carrie Fisher, but that's one of the things that helps. And plus, other than Griffin Dunn, I don't think I've seen. What's his name?
Well, David. People knew David from the Dr. Pepper commercials, but Griffin was pretty much unknown.
Nick with us. Hey, Nick. Sorry, go ahead.
Slick Nick.
Yeah. Jenny was known in England, and she had done a Walkabout about almost 10 years earlier, which is a really awesome movie. If you guys haven't seen it, it's an Australian movie. And she had done, I think she did something a few years before American Werewolf in London that got her a lot of awards. I think she was more like a kind of a heartthrob over there, like a teen, young. I guess she was a teen then, but she was like mid 20s, late 20s in this when they did this. That's what shocked me. Is like they weren't as young as I thought they were when they made the movie. Like David was like 30, 31 or something.
Was he really?
Yeah, he looks young
Wow.
in the movie. And Griffin was actually younger than him, like 28, 27. And Jenny was about 29, I think.
Huh. Didn't know that. Yeah, they all look relatively young. They definitely don't look like teenagers, but.
Is David supposed to be it kind of feels like he's supposed to be a kid, or maybe 20, 21.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, I think, college graduates.
Yeah.
They kind of get that.
Across Europe kind of thing. Yeah.
Did you guys enjoy Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox? Yeah. That's awesome.
I got a shirt on.
Second best transformation scene of all time. And I'm talking about when he transformed for the dance, and he's blowing his hair and.
You are an animal. You looking at Dick Nose?
That was good movie. You ever see the scene where they win the championship or whatever it is, and the guy's with his wiener out or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the movie. Scream Factory released Teen Wolf. Anyway, there was something I wanted to say about this movie, but I can't remember what it is now. That's why I should take notes. It was the shower scene. I wanted to talk about the shower scene.
I had to fast forward through that because my daughter was watching.
Well, there's not much to it because all she does is sit there and kiss his shoulder for like 10 minutes. I think she kissed his shoulder more than she kissed his face. It was weird. Like I'm sitting there watching it last night. I'm like, Jesus Christ, she just was infatuated with that shoulder. And I thought to myself, I miss kissing shoulders. Here we go. Anyway, yeah, that was a kind of a disappointment because you didn't see Nurse Alex's boobs as far as I can remember, do you?
You do.
How did I miss that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Not in the shower. After that, I'm sorry.
Was it after that?
After that, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. The porno scene made up for all of it.
David lost his job with Dr. Pepper because of the nudity in this movie.
Did he really?
Yeah. And also, he told John they couldn't show him full frontal for very much because he was uncircumcised and he's supposed to be Jewish in the movie. That was a little trivia thing I read today.
That's awesome. Some penis stuff. Jared, you got werewolf hair apparently.
I currently have the werewolf hair going right now.
We're still going on YouTube. I'm upset with Facebook. Just to let you guys know.
I got the werewolf beard too.
Yeah. So, is there anything else we guys want to?
What about the cops? The one bumbling guy that keeps like making noise, like the two guys that come into the doctor's office. They were kind of.
Oh yeah. His assistant was like, "Yeah, I'll have some tea." No, we won't have tea. What? I want a tea. I want a tea. That dynamic was kind of funny.
Yeah, and the one was kind of an asshole, so it was kind of I don't know, amusing when he gets his head bit off.
That's a creepy scene too, where the cop runs out and pulls the door down and like starts bashing through. There's a monster. It's like,
yeah,
that's a great image of all the people out there.
Yeah, great way to charge. Make everybody freak out all at once.
Very kind of classic. I mean, into the Blob kind of throwback a bit. Which is what he's going for. The whole I think they asked, why did you set it in London, and he says because that's part of Gothic horror. That's where like all that stuff kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and all that kind of originates from. And I did read I think it said something about Griffin Dunn wasn't going to be able to get his work visa or whatever he needs to work in England. They weren't going to give it to him, and John threatened and told the film commission in England that I'll just rewrite it as American Werewolf in Paris then, and we'll go shoot it in France if you don't give him his visa.
What do you guys think of that movie, the American Werewolf in Paris? Honestly.
I only saw it once.
Yeah, I only saw it once. I remember not liking it. I mean, because I was excited because I really like Julie Delpy. I'd seen Killing Zoe and other things, and I thought, oh, that's cool. And I guess the best thing we got out of that movie was a Bush song.
yeah. I was gonna say the same thing. That's probably the best thing about that. And I don't mind it. Really bad effects. The story's okay. They really cast it pretty poorly. I mean, for his friends or whatever. One of the guy was on all the early '90s TV shows as a tough guy or whatever. But yeah, it was one of those that I had high hopes for, but just didn't turn out very well. Nathan, if there are any horror conventions this year, do you think you will attend any of them or be a guest at any of them?
No, I don't think we're gonna see any this year, sadly. And I haven't really done them since 2016 regularly. I was at Fright Night Film Fest in October. It was local. It was purposely small, and we were premiering a movie that I co-wrote, so I went. But I was there for I didn't have a booth. I just went to the premiere. But I'm still playing it very, very cautious. I wear my mask. I social distance. I don't go out and do a lot. So I have responsibility myself, my family. Also, I'm trying to finish my movie, so I have a responsibility towards my cast and my crew for their safety. So since the beginning, I've played it safe. So yeah, probably not cards for me.
That's kind of a good question overall. How many, conventions, are going to be ballsy enough to try to do it this year? Because
they did it last year.
We know this isn't going to be going away anytime soon, and we all love going to conventions, more or less.
Seth hasn't been one, have you?
No. I don't do well with people. I don't like people that can just stay the fuck away. I have social anxiety, especially around big crowds. I get weird. I clam up, so I probably won't. I mean, I would love to meet all you guys, but I don't know if I'd ever be able to go one. Not to mention where I'm at now. It'd take me 7 years to get to one.
Yeah. All the way up in bumfuck Egypt.
That is a good thing. I have that too. So I don't like big crowds, and I just get really intense and just want to get the fuck out. just give me away. But I've never felt that at a horror convention. I don't know why. I think, I guess generally they're everybody's so enthused and everybody's like your people kind of thing. You know, it's not like your general assholes you're dealing with at Walmart or something else. Like, everybody's there with enthusiasm. So I don't know. Yeah, I hope one day to be back at a convention, but I don't see it happening in 2021.
It's just going to save me a bunch of money. So
yeah, that's how like, yay!
Yeah, more Star Wars toys for me without going to conventions. Because last year, I mean, usually, paying for the hotel room, buying all the shit, getting up there, the food, it's like, God, it's probably a good $600, $700, $800 maybe. Depending on how much stuff, unless you're Keith, then it's like $6,000 or $7,000, with all the shit he buys. But yeah, I mean, last year it saved me a lot of money not going to just Horror Hound alone and then doing the comic book conventions that I normally do. So as much as I miss them, it'll be fine. We'll get back to them eventually.
Oh, thanks, man.
Are you gonna paint that? What are you painting next? I know it's not horror, but
I get this blaster thing in this Luke Skywalker's blaster from Empire.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. All right, why don't we wrap up the episode? Facebook steam out of it. Is there anything else? Seth, go ahead. Remember?
Well, I didn't get to say anything about American Wolf in Paris.
Oh, go for it.
To be honest with you, I think that's a guilty pleasure for me. Like, it's inferior to American Wolf in London, but for me, it's a lot of fun. I mean, the effects are terrible, and it just helps cement my love for practical versus CGI. But I just think overall the stories is kind of fun, and I like the main villain werewolf, Claude. He likes being a werewolf, and he's making more, and he's doing these certain raves to get food. I don't know. It's a guilty pleasure for me. I actually enjoy it, despite its flaws.
It is a weird thing that they went CG when you're talking about a sequel to a movie that basically invented the makeup effects Oscar. Like that's part of. I mean, as good as the film is, that Rick Baker's work is definitely the highlight of the film.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so we're going to make a sequel to this amazing achievement in makeup effects by doing this new CGI bullshit that hasn't hit
the hot new thing, and it really failed. It really did. And there's some cool moments in that movie too, like again the dream sequence when he wakes up after, and you see the girl's mom or whatever. I can't remember very well. That hasn't even come out on Blu-ray yet, has it?
Honestly, never looked for it.
I mean, either. I saw it. I go the other way.
It's definitely more like slapstick as far as like the humor. Like he jumps off the Eiffel Tower with a bungee, and he comes back up, and then you just see his head.
Who was involved in the making of that? I mean, if anyone related, or just somebody had the rights and decided to make it without?
I think it was just someone had the rights to it. I believe the original idea was that the mother there, Julie Delpy's mother, the one that occasionally appears in the movie, was originally supposed to be Nurse Alex Price. So it was supposed to be implied that she was David's daughter. But then I think they had some sort of issue with that, and they just changed it. But yeah,
Seth, I found a new movie for you.
What's that?
It's currently streaming on Amazon. Here, I'm gonna pull it up for you. I checked to see if American Werewolf in Paris was on. It's that one there in the middle.
Bubba the Redneck Werewolf.
Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. It is streaming on Prime right now.
I have that on DVD.
There's a blood moon.
He
You
has
have it?
American Werewolf Paris Blu-ray,
$30.
$69.69.
Yeah, but it's a region AB
Import from Spain.
Yeah, so but this is what I have right here. This old widescreen DVD.
Is that the last?
I bought that in a $5 bin. What's that?
Is that the last physical copy? Because that's like late '90s edition.
Yeah, it really is. I bought that in the $5 bin at Walmart in the early 2000s. So like early time in the $5 bin. I like it. Okay, it's not the greatest thing. It's definitely not. I mean, again, arguably the greatest werewolf movie of all time. How do you follow that up? It's like The Exorcist, The Exorcist 2. How do you follow up The Exorcist, one of the scariest movies of all time? You know, if we had 100 people watching right now, I'd be so happy. Because we only have, we had some problems with Facebook. Just put it that way. Tried something new and it backfired. Could be either. Or both.
Honestly, neither.
All right, let's
Jim. He's like Jared's like Jim Brewer. I look like this all the time.
You want some Funyuns? All right, Jared, let's wrap this up and do some final thoughts.
I'll go ahead and go first. I rewatched that last night, and like I said earlier in the show, I'm not a big werewolf movie guy, but obviously it's the best one out there. And like I said earlier, there are so many little nuances throughout that you notice something different every time you watch it, I think. And I think that's what makes the movie fun to watch every single time you watch it. Yeah. Stay away from the Moors and stay away from weird chess players because it might be Drop Dead Fred.
Okay, Nate, final thought.
He was playing dominoes too, so he's probably good at dominoes.
I don't know. I think I've said everything. That whole opening sequence is just. I love that sequence. Just the atmosphere and David and Jack's relationship, friendship, and then just being strangers in a strange land kind of thing, going into that bar, everyone, the way they look at them, and just the whole, their debates on we can't let them go. Like that's a really cool thing. Like it's murder. It's murder to let them leave. Like it's like that they know where they're facing, and then giving them that little warning. And just again that whole how effective that is of just simple shots of them walking in that sound of that wolf, and it's surrounding us, and it's in front of us, and that is so effective and it's so simple. It's simple stuff, and even the attack is simple. It still holds up, and it is as simple as it could possibly be. And that's something that CGI can't do. It's because even like when he's doing the murders, when he kills the homeless guys and he kills a guy on we do not see a lot, but it's all still very frightening and effective. And again, just those classic, the humor that John Landis has, and balloons and all that little stuff. Like I said, David Naughton isn't the strongest actor in the world, and it's really, yeah. I mean, I liked it. I really like. If anyone hasn't seen Brutal Massacre, it's probably my favorite thing he's done. Where he plays a B movie horror movie director, but. I do feel I feel it's one of the greatest horror films ever made. I think it should be on any top 50 list. If it's not, there's a problem. Someone's forgotten it. They need to go back and change something. Yeah, because I do think it's the best werewolf movie. The only contender would be the original Wolfman. I can't. I mean, Howling. I give it the Howling. It's like the Near Dark Lost Boys debate.
Yeah.
Like always between Howling and American Werewolf in London.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I think it's probably more about you as an individual, which one you watched more, or which one. Because the Howling is nothing to kick out of bed, as they say. The Howling's pretty fantastic.
Did we ever talk about the Howling?
We have not.
Oh, of course, you speak up immediately. Yeah. Seth, it's your turn. You've got about 12 minutes.
12 minutes. Wow.
That's all you get.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I absolutely love this movie. I love watching it all the time, pretty much. And it doesn't get old for me. There's just so many great moments. The scene with them on the moors, the transformation. My favorite scene, I would say, would have to be in the movie theater with all his victims talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
You have the one guy that was killed in the subway being all serious, and then you have the very peppy couple, and their suggestions of how he should kill himself. It's just, meanwhile, they're all covered in blood. They all have their wounds, so it's a great balance of horror and comedy.
It is. It's great. Even that line, like, he happens to be a personal friend of mine. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
So,
and Jack is just such a great character and so well played by Griffin. I also love the moment where Jack shows up in the apartment when David's taking a leak, and they go out to the living room, and they sit down, and he's like, "David, you have no idea what's going on here." And David goes, "Yeah, I'm going to become a werewolf." He goes, "Yeah, that's right." Just the way he says it, I don't know. Just a great movie all around. I don't know what else to say than that.
Don't get teary-eyed, and we know you love it so much. Yeah, I like it. It's a good movie. A lot of fun. I at the beginning of the show, I said that I think the comedy kind of really plays a bigger role for me in it. I really like a lot of the weird things that happen, especially after he wakes up in the wolf's cage, whatever you want to call it, and runs around the streets of London trying to find clothes and standing in line and just casually walking the door. Oh, it's cold, or whatever he says. I like that. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. I don't know if it's definitely not my favorite werewolf movie. I do prefer Silver Bullet. Sue me. I like Silver Bullet, and I really like The Howling quite a bit. So anyway, thanks for anyone who joined us. Sorry about the problems. It won't happen next week. But join us next week as we're gonna. You guys remember what we're talking about next week?
Nope.
Anybody remember? The Witch.
Oh,
Hell yeah! I better start working on that now.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about The Witch and why it's a really good movie. Seth, you need to watch that.
Yeah,
You own it.
I do.
Jared, real quick, what do you
Seen
think of The Witch? Do you like it or not like it?
wait till next week.
Nathan, I know you love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a good movie. It's just slowly paced. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just warning Seth so you don't go in halfway. What the fuck are they saying, and why is it so slow?
I read on the internet that it's so dumpster fire.
It's not.
People on the internet
shot.
are slow as fuck.
Yeah,
I heard it's just as bad as It Follows.
Let me tell you something about it. I saw it in the theater, and it was one of the worst experiences of my life because I wanted to see this. It looked like it was going to be a movie right for me, and it got ruined by the people. And I'm going to say it: the bitches, a couple seats away from me, were laughing and giggling, and calling this movie boring as fuck. And in the middle of the theater, ruined the whole experience. And so second time I saw it, dark living room by myself. I loved it. Actually, I take it back. I wasn't by myself. My wife was with me, but I like it quite a bit. And Black Phillip, I love him. Also, if anybody cares, over at the Rage of Razor channel, Seth and I will be Saturday talking about Superman 3, which is going to be a lot of fun. Anybody who wants to join can join, but I'll make a face like that.
Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to do it this Saturday.
Oh, God.
The Buffalo's in the playoffs, man.
Oh, is that this Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday night.
What time? Well, why don't we do it? We can do it earlier.
Well,
don't make me make this face.
Actually, I probably could do it earlier because
work it out.
I believe
my
Amber,
Chiefs play on Sunday.
I believe Amber has plans for Saturday, so I might be free anytime Saturday.
Okay, yeah, hit me up. We'll do it Saturday. Doesn't matter. It's only 30 minutes. It's not like I'm going to have Nathan on the show again for 30 minutes.
Holy fuck, you guys are still talking?
Yeah. Hey, we were enjoying ourselves. Give us a break, right?
Yeah, like what? We're gonna talk about Star Wars for 30 minutes?
we barely even talked about Star Wars. It was mostly about reading comics and just personal preference stuff. It was a good time. Anyway, anybody who watches this, come follow the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Witch is coming up on Tuesday, no matter what. And for Seth, Jared, and Nathan, we will see you next week. Later.